Good morning. My name is Juan Lopez. By the time you get to see me, you've already been spoken to by the police. Probation has probably already interviewed you. And I'm the person in charge of making sure that your rights are protected. I know Her Honor said that I'm looking for the lightest sentence, but sometimes that's not necessarily true. I work differently than a lot of defense attorneys. I've been a teacher in high school. I worked the police department when I was in college. I am a criminal defense attorney. I've been doing it for 15 years, but I'm also a parent. Because of that background, I approach my cases differently. Again, when you see me, you've already been interviewed by the police. At that point, you're in trouble, okay? And it's true, I do protect your rights, and I do try to make sure that, justice is served. But I find it important that the kids that I represent get the message. And the message generally for me is that it's never okay to do anything that's criminal in nature, especially domestic violence. When you see me, a lot of times after I've interviewed you, you're probably gonna be crying because I'm gonna put it on the table and tell you exactly the way it is. I do a lot of cursing when I talk to the kids during my interview, and I'm not afraid to say that and put it on record because I think it's important for you to understand that when you're sitting with me, you're accused of a crime. Most of the time, well, some of the times domestic violence, some of the crimes are gang cases, some of the crimes are just everything, maybe even attempted murder, maybe even murder. But when you see me, you're in big trouble, okay? But I'm there to assist you and help you and explain to you what the law is, what your rights are, okay? What you're gonna be going through. I will generally speak with you and your family to make sure you understand everything that's going on. The law's already been presented and some of the things that get you into trouble, but I think the message that I wanna give you is that you don't ever wanna see me. You don't ever wanna say, I have a defense attorney, or I'm in juvenile court, or I'm on probation. That's probably the worst thing you could probably tell anybody. And some of you may think it's funny or a joke, or hey, or you think you're tough because you're on probation. Most of the kids that I represent, when I'm in court or when I'm talking to them in juvenile court, they cry when they realize they're gonna spend Christmas in custody, that they're gonna spend probably their birthday, Thanksgiving, New Year's in custody. It's not a joke, it's not funny. When I see you, I'm telling you, and I put it straightforward, I'm not making things nice or pretty. I'm telling you exactly the way it is. At age 14 in the state of California, if you commit certain offenses, you're considered an adult. You can go and spend the rest of your life in state prison, for example, if you kill somebody. And in fact, the first kid that's gonna die in the state of California in custody because of a murder he committed and was only 14, came out of Santa Clara County, okay? I don't want that ever to happen to you. I don't wanna sit down with your parents and explain to them, you know what? I'm representing your kid. And it's possible that your child may never come out of custody. Your kid will probably come out of state prison dead in a box, feet first. I don't want to have that conversation with your parents. So when you see me, I'm putting that out there. I mean, I explain to you all your rights. I do what I'm legally obligated to do. But I find that because of the work that I do, because of my background, it's important for me to give you all the information that's necessary because I don't ever want to see you again. And it's not because I dislike you, because I don't ever want to see you graduate from college. If you invite me to college graduation, I'd rather be there than representing you as your attorney because you're accused of a domestic violence case. Because sometimes those domestic violence cases turn really ugly. It's not just a slap. It may be a girl or a boy stabbing their boyfriend or girlfriend with a pencil, okay? It may be where the girl or the guy really gets beat up pretty badly, where they end up in the hospital, okay? And because you do that, and if you're 14 years old or older and that person really suffers some serious injuries, including possibly dying, you may be facing an adult case, even though you're only 14 years old, okay? So those are the conversations that I have with the people that I represent. It's important because I want you to understand where you're at, what your predicament is. And yes, I'm your attorney, yes, I'm on your side, but if I just act like an attorney, it's not gonna help you. I need to put it on the table so you understand that you don't ever wanna come back, you don't ever wanna see me. You don't want to ever be prosecuted by the district attorney, and you certainly don't want Judge McGowan sitting there telling you you're going away for life. That's your sentence, okay? Or you're going to spend Christmas, New Year's, your birthday, your parents' birthday, Mother's Day, Father's Day in custody. And kids do that. And when I represent you and I have to explain to you, you know, what you're looking at spending all these important days in your life in custody. Just about 3 weeks ago, I had a conversation with a client of mine, and it was about his custody time. He had spent approximately 2 years of his life already in custody. Okay? Only 16 years old, and he already had spent almost 2 years of his life in custody. Okay? I told him, you're doing life. You have a life sentence, but you're doing it in the installment plan. Because you're coming in, you're going out, You're coming in, you're going out. That's a life sentence. And I've been doing this long enough where I've represented men and women who are 50, 60 years old, and since the age of maybe 14, 15, they've been in and out of custody, okay? It's for various reasons, you know, social, economic, but I don't want to see you, period. You know, if you see me, you're in big trouble. I not only do juvenile cases, but I also do adult cases. When you see me in adult court, most of the cases I handled, the people that are facing the sentence that, well, let me back up. The sentence that my clients are facing as adults are either double digits, okay? 10, 15, 20, 30, 100, you know, triple digits, 100 years to life in state prison. So if you see me as an adult, you know, you commit an adult crime. If you see me, most of the conversations that you and I are going to have are going to be, well, I think you're going to die in state prison. Or you're going to get out an old man or an old woman, okay? So if you commit crimes, the consequences is, yeah, you're going to serve time. And the message I want you to take away from the table today, for me at least, is that it's not okay, one, to do any type of domestic violence case at all. I mean, nothing against your boyfriend or girlfriend. It's not cool, it's not right. Second of all, if you do the crime, and if the charges are found true, get ready to do the time, because the time nowadays, it's really, they're long sentences. They're no longer short like when I was a kid. Okay, now, 14, you're an adult, at 16 years old, you start earning strikes, okay? And some domestic violence cases have the potential to be strikes. If you're striking your boyfriend or girlfriend with some kind of dangerous weapon or instrument, you're potentially looking at a strike. If you're causing great bodily injury, you know, you're breaking their nose, busting their teeth, you're looking at strikes, okay? At 16 years old, those strikes go on your record. If the charges are found true, they never go away. When I see you as an adult, maybe a couple years later, when you're 18 or 19 and you're still doing the same nonsense, I'm going to have a conversation with you, and it's going to include the fact that you are potentially going to be facing 25 years to life in state prison for some of the things you did as a juvenile, okay? That's important to understand and to know, and it happens. I've represented many young men and women over the course of my career as an attorney now, and I've had the conversation with them that, you know, you're facing 25 years to life in state prison because of things you did as a juvenile, okay? Those strikes don't go away. They're there forever, okay? So you have to think about that. It's very important. A lot of the things you do as kids are going to affect you for the rest of your lives, okay? Thank you.
My name is Rashad Jones, Juvenile Probation Officer. By a show of hands, how many of you guys understand what juvenile probation is and what it's about? Raise your hands. All right. So basically, when you complete the court process and get placed on juvenile probation, you're going to have a juvenile probation officer. And if you are found true to have committed a crime of dating violence, teen dating violence, domestic violence, you're going to be placed on probation. And you're going to be placed on probation in a specialized unit that deals specifically with juvenile delinquents who commit acts of dating violence, teen dating violence, domestic violence, family violence, etc. And with being on probation for that, you're going to have to participate, whether it's in EMP, juvenile hall, home on probation. But the main thing is you're going to have to participate in a 26-week domestic violence, teen dating violence program. Does anybody know how many months is 26 weeks? Anybody? 6 months, 2 weeks. Now for a 15, 16-year-old, does that seem like a long time? Yes, no? Okay, so 26 weeks of counseling, once a week for 2 hours each session. And on top of that, you're going to have to pay $15 per session to attend. $15 times 26, for you mathematics out there, it's approximately $390. So that goes to show you, just by being found guilty in juvenile court, true of an offense of teen violence, teen dating violence, you're going to have those obligations that you're going to have to understand, and those are the obligations that you're going to have to be found to be true. 26 weeks. And you're going to have a probation officer who's going to be ensuring and talking to your group counselor to make sure that you're actually participating in the program, not just by sitting here having a seat in the program. If you're not participating and if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, you could be terminated from the program. And if you have more than 4 absences, you could be terminated from the program. And then your probation officer will violate your probation, and then you'll go back to court and possibly get EMP, juvenile hall time, possibly the ranch, but when it's all said and done, you're still going to have to complete that 26 weeks of counseling. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We currently have 2 service providers that we utilize for 26 weeks of domestic violence counseling. That's pieced it together, and it's a gentleman by the name of Mr. Chris Hickey. And one thing you guys got to understand as freshmen, I believe as most of you are, is that it starts early and it starts young. You guys think it may be a joke, it may be funny. You guys are liking boys, boys are liking girls, etc. The whole thing coming out now is the texting. Even if you send a threatening text to your boyfriend, to your girlfriend, to your ex-boyfriend, to your ex-girlfriend, that can even get found to be come in front of the judge here. That's a felony. And you could be placed on probation just for that felony. So one thing you guys got to understand is once you're actually placed on probation, your lives and your freedom are in that probation officer's hands, in a sense of, I'm sure some of you guys know juveniles, some of you guys know kids who may be on probation, who may have had to complete some community service work for getting into a fight, etc. But one thing you guys got to understand is once you're actually placed on probation for an act of teen dating violence, is your freedom and your lives and everything is in that probation officer's hand. So that probation officer can come to your house at any time when you're not there, search your room. Come to the school here and drug test you. Come to the school here, check your phone, see if you're texting your boyfriend, your girlfriend, etc., whoever that victim may be. And on top of that, that victim will have a no contact order. Basically meaning if you decide to assault or threaten or verbally abuse your boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, etc., there will be a no contact order to where the judge will specifically state that you can't have any contact with that specific individual. No contact, period. Even if you guys go to the same school here. No contact. You guys understand what no contact means? And if you come in violation of that no contact order, then once again, you'll go back to court. And through counseling and through the 26 weeks, if it is determined that you are having contact with that person, once again, you'll go back to court. So when it's all said and done, you guys got to understand that boyfriends, girlfriends is nice to have, yes, but you cannot put your hands on another individual, especially your boyfriend or your girlfriend. You cannot send text messages that are threatening your boyfriend or girlfriend. Because once you do, and once you go through this juvenile justice system here, and once you're actually placed on juvenile probation, it's hard. It's hard to get off probation. As real as I can state it, it's hard. 26 weeks is a long time. That's 6 months, 2 weeks of once a week for 2 hours, to where you actually have to participate and be honest with your group counselor and explain to him the issues that you may have. And you also have to sign a contract stating that you will not demonstrate any violent behavior through that whole 26 weeks. And that violent behavior or argumentative behavior is at home, at school, in the community, etc. You don't even have to be contacted and cited by the police. Your parent can call your probation officer and state, hey, you know, little Joanna is cussing me out at home, acting a fool, etc., etc. The next thing you know, that probation officer is going to place a call into your counselor there and let your counselor know, and then you'll have to restart the program all over again, even if you're in your 20th or 21st week. So one thing you guys got to understand is you don't want to see us. You don't want to get placed on probation, and you don't want to go through the court process because it's tough to get out. And you'll be on probation for a minimum of a year.